We're live. Archie, what's up, dude?
What's up? Coming
Man,
from you
it's,
live in Las Vegas.
I know. From Las Vegas. From Las Vegas. Dude, it's been a while. How many it's been what, like, I don't know, 8 weeks, maybe more, since we had one of these episodes.
Yeah, it's long overdue for sure.
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited to dig in. I know you've had a lot on your plate. Well, I guess both of us have had a lot on our plates the past couple of weeks, but definitely look forward to catching up. I want to hear about the the time you spent. Where were you at? Is it Texas?
it was. Yeah, we were in Dallas, Texas for Black Diamond Club.
You were there for a couple of days, right?
I was there for two days. Well, three Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But man, I got there Thursday night, so it felt like only 2 days technically.
For sure. Yeah, I'm anxious to hear about kind of two things. One, obviously the event,
hmm
but also I know that you trained. Where was that you trained? The academy that you trained at?
Oh yeah, that was Bushido. That was
That,
in Dallas as well.
that's a Six Blades Academy, right?
It is
Yeah,
that.
that place looks sick, man.
Oh man, yeah. Chris Hargett recommended that place. Um, Jeff Horn, who's the owner there, he was there. I met him, but it was I forget his Carlos Neto. He was the coach there, and man, that was a good class. It was a no-gi class. Good people. The
Yeah, the
atmosphere.
academy looks sick, dude.
Yeah, that atmosphere. You got people working out while class is going on. You got music playing. Yeah, the atmosphere was really good.
Now from the looks of it, looked freaking massive.
Yep, 10,000. Correct. I hope I remember. I think it was around 10,000 square feet of
So was it
space.
like in a warehouse, kind of like how Chinkina's Academy is, or it's in a like a retail space?
It was a warehouse.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, man.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
yeah.
How's the training?
It was good. You know, their warm ups. That's the problem with big spaces.
Oh
The
yeah,
warm-ups feel long, so we're like jogging around the whole mats, inside, outside. And, it's been a while since I've done some warm-ups like that, but
yeah, that's funny.
yeah, we're doing some, your basic hip escapes, and they threw in some cartwheels, so just trying to get the body moving in the, for class. So it
Yeah,
was good. I had a good time. Carlos Neto just had um, he was at Pam's the week before,
hmm.
and he went against Cade.
Oh no way.
Yeah. Now I I think he won because he won his whole division.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was an open division or his own division, but he beat Cade.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's big time.
Yeah, that was a big win for him. And then that same day or that weekend I was there, he had a fight to win match, and he won by armbar.
Dang, that's
Guy's a
crazy.
beast, man. Guy's a beast.
Did you get some time with them to roll with them?
I did. I got one round with him. He caught me in an armbar.
Oh man,
But
what was the what was your thoughts rolling with uh outside of the academy?
just more things that I guess not in jujitsu I need to work on, but physically. Guys in
Like,
in that gym were jacked. So when we ever we all of our I guess our sparring matches started from standing.
Yeah.
And anytime we got on this collar tie with any of the people I went with, man, I just felt like they were just throwing me around. Maybe I'm not working collar tie, technically sounded, but man, I just felt like I was getting thrown around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's starting for standing position, especially in a place like that that has a lot of room where people can move.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's pretty dope, man. Good times.
Yeah. They're big, with the physical and strength training there. So, um, I mean, they got the equipment, they got the facilities, so they have the lifestyle and everything you need to be a top notch jujitsu practitioner.
Yeah. Yeah. Resources. Plus, also, too, when your coach is, competing like that and very, very active, I'm sure that it just forces, a lot of, a lot of just additional training and whatnot. That's pretty dope, man. That's
Yeah,
cool.
even the academy owner, Jeff, he competed as well. He won his division the weekend before as well. I got to sit down and talk to him for maybe about an hour after class.
Oh,
Talked a
nice.
lot. Yeah,
Is he is that his primary business or his core business, or he does stuff outside of owning the academy?
he's an attorney. That's his main business. So he's a lawyer.
Got it. It's a
Yeah,
cool little side business.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
lot of students. Was the class packed?
that evening, it was a Thursday night. There was, I would say, 10 people. But
Got it. It's a decent sized class. Got some good rounds in, I'm sure.
yeah, it was good. The one of the students I talked to, they're like, "You came at a day when not a lot of people are here. Usually Thursday nights are packed, but at that time when I went, the weather was so bad. It
Mm,
was raining. There's thunderstorms, but I didn't let that stop me getting some jujitsu in though.
for sure, for sure. So you're in Texas, going for the Black Diamond event, 2 days. So is marketing specific? Was the event?
So the theme or the title, what they called that weekend was called sales, revenue, and profit.
Mm, I like it.
So it's
I like it already.
focused, yes, focused around the sales, the and strategies and the mindset around sales. When I go to these events, I feel like a lot of mindset. I really stick to a lot of the mindset um, strategies that they share with us, and some of them can have an overlap of this the strategies as well. But overall, it was a good experience.
Now, what do those typical events look like? Are you guys role playing? Are you guys listening to speakers? Are you guys doing exercises? What does that look like?
When it's mainly listening to speakers and taking notes, and what they do is like you have hour and a half blocks of whether it's a guest or Sean and Lacey, also speaking and giving the strategies, and then you get about a half hour break. And usually, in between those breaks, to me personally, that's where a lot of the magic happens because you start talking with people and you start networking and talking about whatever the topic was that we spoke about that hour. So it's definitely you get what you put in type thing type weekend because you're free to do whatever you want in that half hour break. So I think to me like a lot of that magic happens right there because you network with a lot of people that are there.
Now, are those primarily chiropractors in the chiropractic space, or they're from all kinds of businesses?
There are all kinds of businesses. Any service based business is going to be there, but yeah, I would say a majority are chiropractors. Some of them, they're also guest speakers. They have One of them is LaShawn Merritt. He's an Olympic track athlete who
Oh
won
wow.
two Olympic gold medals. That's dope to see him sitting in with us learning. But also, he just had to speak at another convention in Dallas that same weekend. So he gave a
Oh wow.
speech, and then he came to Black Diamond Club to know learn more about what they were talking about that weekend. So that's dope to see that. And then there's all different types of businesses out there, or business owners out there.
That's dope, man. The uh the last event, Michael Chandler, right? 'Cause isn't Michael Chandler associated with him in some way, or what's the
He
storyline with that?
um, I'm not completely sure, but I know that Sean and Lacey are have a very close relationship with them. They have some very they have a couple of investments together, and they do some masterminds as well. They Sean and Lacey, they host their masterminds, and then they have Michael Chandler be one of their guest speakers to these masterminds as well. So yeah, they one of the investments they have is Cram Nutrition. That's a
Hmm.
pretty dope product. It's a Have you heard of those? What do you call them? Those peanut, those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches you can stick in the freezer.
Yeah, Uncrustables.
Yeah, there you go. So it's an organic version, a more healthier version of that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's a couple people. I mean, Michael Chandler is an investor in it, and also Sean Lacey and a couple other people. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
The speaker roster, was there anybody or any concept that you're like, man, that's just mind blowing, or was there any specific takeaways from the event?
Oh yeah, there's a couple there. I gotta, I always write these notes and I have to go back to them. I even have some from last year when I went, but Dave Meltzer was one of the speakers that they have at almost every event. And when you listen to this guy, he has, I think personally, it's mindset, and there's a lot of emotional connection to how he does business. And the biggest thing that he was talking about, let me pull it up right now. So when you are trying to sell something to a customer, he was talking about the customer making a decision. And when they
Hmm.
make a decision, he frames it as an agreement with time, three main things: time, emotion, and value. So when you're selling to them, you need to focus: what time are they giving? What are they emotionally feeling out there? And then how do they see value in what you give? So, that's on a deeper level. Obviously, there's other easier ways, but that was the biggest takeaway from one of the speakers I got from this weekend.
That's wild. What is Dave Metzler, right? Is that his name?
Dave Metzler, yeah.
What's
Meltzer.
his background?
I'm not completely sure. And I seen this guy like four times on stage. I know that there was some story about Jerry Maguire. Like that movie was like all about him.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, that there. I wish I could explain what he does a little bit better, but I know there's a lot of people out there that thinks he's like really big, and I'm over here. I don't even know anything about him. But I love to hear how his speech every time we go, because he's there every event,
Yeah.
every time.
He, there's a lot of content that he puts out,
Yeah,
and I thought that he was in some kind of sports capacity. I don't know if he was like an owner or an agent or something like that.
yeah, he's got several businesses. One of them, he has a show called Office Hours, It's on Apple TV,
Okay.
and they interview business owners.
Oh wow.
You got to check it out. Yeah. I mean, obviously the production is
Yeah, the production value is way different than ours.
for sure.
Oh, that's
But
funny, dude.
yeah, they had Grant Cardone on the show, man. They had a lot of famous people on there. Yeah.
A
But
lot of ballers, man.
he's a really nice guy. Um, Other guest speakers there, Sam Taggart. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Mm-mm.
They call him like the master of the door to door sales.
Oh wow. Okay.
So he's been doing door to door. He's actually has a company called D2D, and he just trains people on how to sell. Um, and there wasn't that much of a. He talks about the 7 ways to get to a customer: email, text, call,
Yeah.
ads, a ringless voicemail. That's a direct mail, and then the one that a lot of people overlook is door to door.
Oh yeah.
So, um, yeah, that was his um, I guess his niche. So his mindset: every opportunity lies behind a door. Easy
I
concept
love
to grasp, but it's like,
I
oh
love that.
man, like where do you when I hate when people come to my door.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
But if you keep, I mean, he was saying you just keep going door to door, right? Like you be consistent and be relentless about it, because there's
yeah, it's a volume
yeah,
game, dude.
mm-hmm, yeah,
Yeah, that's a mindset in itself, man.
oh yeah, man. I can't imagine myself doing that, but we gotta break through these thresholds, and our perception of ourselves is, you know, that's who we think we are. So they're like, you got to break out of those shells and just try, right? You never know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think what's interesting about that is, I think you going into a retail space where hey, there's going to be co-tenants and other people in the local community that are very relevant to the
Hmm.
business, and just being able to get out there, introduce yourself, and make sure that everybody around you knows who you are is going to be just as you plant your flag into your new space. Um, yeah, that's going to be part of it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad he talked about those 7 ways to reach, because maybe I'm not aware. I'm like new to this. Just being new to business is, just gives me more on the arsenal, or what else I can focus on if something is not working. Obviously, all 7 needs to work collectively, but I think personally, a lot of people will focus on one thing and then try to put all their eggs in one basket. Right? It's like you got to
Right.
go. You got to hit all 7 of them, including door to door.
Seriously, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The in my recruiting in my recruiting business, it's not necessarily door to door, but it is. The I always classified it as business development. That's the way I learned it, as business development. But it's literally like knocking on doors. It's just, hey, I'm finding people that look like potential folks that are decision makers, and I see that they have a job listing, and they're going to be the hiring contact. So I'm sending them a message, and I'm going to send them an email. I'm going to approach them on LinkedIn. I'm going to follow them on LinkedIn. And it's literally the virtual version of door to door, because I have no relationship other than, hey, I have a service and you look like you need the service. So I'm going to message you and I'm going to try to get a hold of you.
Hmm.
And you'll be surprised, man. You'll be surprised, folks that are out there that will respond. Now, again, again, a lot of that stuff falls on deaf ears, but it's just, man, you got to stay the course.
Yeah.
I always found it useful to put it as just part of the routine of just, hey,
Hmm.
every night I'm going to do some business development work, probably something similar to you as you start to, immerse yourself into the city, right? Whether it's an hour worth of community work, right? You kind of bolt that onto your lunch, right?
Hmm.
You,
Oh
you,
yeah.
you, hey, while I'm having lunch, you a couple doors down, I'm going to talk to a couple of the business owners in the local community, introduce yourself,
Yeah.
um, and, start building, let it build over time.
Oh yeah. Um, Other guests were Ryan Stewman. He's called the hardcore closer, and Michael Port. Now, Ryan Stewman, he was talking about the, I guess, what is it? The four levels of business. So, level one, you're employed. Level two, you're self employed. Level three, you're the CEO. And level four, you're the owner. Now, I should go back to my notes and go over this, but that's all I've taken from that, because I had to step out to do things during his speech.
Like how those
We'll
are four
talk. We'll
bullet
get.
points on the.
Yeah, we'll get to why I had to step out a little later, but that
Oh
was one
man.
thing. And then Michael Port, he's good. He wrote a book called Book Yourself Solid, and I was talking to you about some of the concepts that he talks about. That red velvet rope policy on who you want to, who should be coming through your doors. Like they should be people you want to work with, right? You want to make your life fulfilling, and you want to be happy where you want to go to work, and not you know dread the day. So that's like one of the concepts he has, like your ideal client, right? So they rewrote the book for specifically chiropractors.
Oh,
So
interesting.
his original book was for, a broad scale, just any business owner, any service based business owner. So one of the Black Diamond Club chiropractors partnered with him to rewrite the book for chiropractors.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Dr. Christine Zapata. She's in Washington. Um, cool person. Yeah, I got to meet her and talk about how that book process went. It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Again, I don't know enough about it, but I do remember that conversation. And yeah, I could see both ways, right? There's
Right.
this world of, hey, I only want to service people that I want to service, which again, I mean, it's your business, so you should be able to be real clear on who you're going after.
Hmm.
Um, but the flip side of that is like, hey, in the very early infancy, like,
Yeah.
hey, do you really want to turn business around and put yourself out there as someone that is being so selective and being so exclusive that the volume of people that you need to make the business run, to make it actually a business, you're turning all those people away. It's like, that's a tricky situation. I'm sure there's
It.
probably some nuance inside of the concept or the theory behind it, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
the fundamental is like, hey man, if you have a service and someone wants it and they're willing to pay for it, hey, would you rather have an empty spot, or would you rather have somebody that you could service and begin building that relationship with? So it's an interesting theory for sure.
Oh yeah. It is. It is, and we'll get into more of. I did wrap my head around, because yeah, we did talk about this, and yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about what my thought process is about that. And yeah. So yeah, that I mean that wraps it up. One thing I want to add about, in Dallas, dude, Bobby Lashley was there. Do you know
Who's Bobby
Bobby
Lashley?
Lashley?
Mm-hmm.
He's WWE,
Oh, got it, got
uh,
it.
but he was also in MMA. He fought for
Oh,
Bellator.
interesting.
Yeah. So dude, I was a little starstruck. It's like, dude, this guy's like massive, man. You should see him, man. He's just as you see him on TV, he's like just jacked. Anyways, man, I didn't get a picture with him. All I just did was just like shake his hand, and
Be
it
in his
was,
presence.
yeah, dude. I was like, and he was there, like he was there for because one of the um people there, they have a business in coaching and more of religious on the religious side
Mm,
of coaching. So he sees a lot of famous people, um, and he would Bobby Lashley was there for a session with him. So
got it.
yeah,
Got it. Nice, man. So you go to the marketing event. Meanwhile, you're searching for your space for your chiropractic office. Do you call your office a clinic, or what do you call that?
that's a good question. I never put some thought into that.
Is it
Um,
is it just an
I
office, or is it a clinic, or what do you call it?
if I were gonna call it right now, I would call it an office. Like something
So
about the word clinic just doesn't jive with me.
does it resonate? Doesn't resonate
No.
with the authenticity of the chiropractic world.
Yeah.
Um, so um, you're in Dallas. You're looking for some real estate for your office, and now you're fast forward. You're a couple weeks in, and you got your lease signed to the new place.
Yeah.
How is how's everything? What's going through Archie's head?
Man, so I was talking to you about Ryan Stewman's speech, and I only have these four bullet points. It's
Yeah,
because I had to step out and talk to property management about like negotiations we're trying to settle for the space. And I just wanted to take that call. I'm like, I got to take this call. Like, we're trying to figure out, tenant improvements and what's it going to cost. We're like negotiating these deals back and forth, trying to get
right.
everything that we want for the space. And it was a hectic time, or hectic that weekend because we're just going back and forth. Because I am working with a real estate agent as well.
Right.
So I'm talking to him, I'm talking to property management. So we're just like bouncing back and forth. But shout out to Bob, who helped me secure this space, Bob Cowan, in Redlands. But yeah, we signed the lease about a week and a half ago.
That's awesome,
So
man.
yeah, man, that when I put that pen to paper, man, that was one. It was nerve wracking to
Sure.
start with, but exciting at the same time, man. So we found our space. We love it. There's a lot of small businesses around. We When we signed that lease, we went to go visit, and there was like a little sandwich spot. So my family and I kind of ate there. I got to meet the owner there, and make some connections. Like, hey, we're moving in soon, but we just had to get a little bit more of the feel of the space, and it was good, man.
Dude, that's so awesome. Congrats on that, by the way.
Yeah,
That's big. That's big time. That's a big milestone for sure.
dude, I didn't think it was gonna go this fast. To be honest with you, I was like, we looked at five spaces in one day. It was like a week and a half before I went to that Black Diamond Club event, and I don't know. The first space we went to, that was the space that we secured was the first space we went to.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The other four, I was like, this is too big. This is massive. One of them was like an old chiropractic office, and they retired. So the space was already set. Like, you don't have to do anything, but
Just move in.
just move in. Exactly. And the property manager was willing to reach out to the old chiropractor to see if we can get like the list
The
of.
database, yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I could get my business running. So that was like, oh man, that's a good selling. Like that. That's it's a good, good way to start. But man, I just thought about it. This is too big, and it was about 2,600 square feet. Like, I'm like, this is, I don't know if I could afford something this big.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be wise, man. You got to be
Yeah,
wise. Start, with the minimum amount that you need to get going. Service a good
yeah.
experience.
Uh-huh.
So what's next? What's the you signed the lease? I'm assuming they're probably building it out.
They're already done.
Oh, it's all
They yeah,
fully set,
they
ready to
they
go.
just messaged me yesterday.
Oh shit.
They like they're fixing the floor. They found a leak. They fixed that. Like they did that all within a week, and I didn't
Oh wow.
expect that. So they're allowing me to come in early. I'm expected to go there at the end of this month, but they're willing to hand over the keys so I can start getting things going. So without charge. So I'm
Nice.
like, dude, things are moving fast. Because there's a lot of other things I'm doing. I'm like speaking to a lot of vendors, like payment processing systems, um, our software to keep all the patient records and stuff and like that, and like all this equipment. And then trying to get funding. Dude, it's been a busy past 3 weeks because like when we're negotiating the times for the lease, I'm like, okay, if this is going to happen here, how am I going to secure lending? So I'm like talking to people, emailing back and forth. I need this equipment. I'm speaking to like 10 different vendors right now, and my head's just all over the place right now.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
So, but we're slowly securing things. Like we got funding. Like we're ready to just start bringing in all this stuff right now. So right now we still need to find insurance though. I see. This is what you learn when I guess when you do business. I'm like, oh, wait, we need insurance for the space. But they said it's not too hard, so they're willing to help me.
That's pretty awesome, dude.
Like, what a rookie.
Yeah. What was that? What was that?
They said I was like thinking like they're probably like, oh, this guy's a rookie. He doesn't know. I'm like,
Yeah, seriously, right? Like, who is this guy?
like well, I go, we have to get insurance for this space. I'm like, oh, it makes sense, just like an apartment or something. But I didn't think about it. I'm like,
Yeah. That's so what's the time frame from construction, move in, equipment install, all that? When do you think you'll have you'll start servicing clients?
I think fully because I am still phasing myself out of my current from my current employer to until August, but I'm gonna be servicing at a full capacity in August, but at a
Oh
limited
wow.
capacity in June. Like fully, like all the equipment's gonna be in there by maybe it might come in sooner, man. I didn't even think I would get the space this soon either. So it's like right now it's just like ordering. Like, okay, get that, get that. Then whenever they come in, right? So it might come sooner. You never know.
For sure. Well, I think what's cool about that is, I mean, we'll be 1 year into the podcast in August,
Oh
and
man,
part of the
crazy.
the thought process was, hey, this would be, you know, Archie's start or his documentation of his getting his practice open. So yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to see you're actually ahead of schedule
I
from
know,
all that.
right? Dude, I was like, oh, September, the fall of 2024. And damn, things are moving fast right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's good, man. That's good. So what's the so have you fully decided on like what you're naming it?
Oh yeah. Man, that was definitely a slow. Well, I thought about it probably a year and a half ago, but to actually secure it was a long process of, okay, is this what I really want? Because it's funny if when I share the concept with a lot of people, I found a lot more resistance. against the name than
Mm,
support,
interesting.
right? And but the more we did this podcast and like listening to a lot of people and their take on it, and like I can't choose another name. Then like this is the name that resonates with me, right?
Right.
It's like I can't just because yeah, I love hearing people's feedback, and I'll take it for what it is, but this name has to be resonating with me, not to them, or you know, just it has to just I have to feel it, right? I have to know that when I sign that lease, I'm like, this is it. This is the name of my office, and I can't regret it. Like I didn't want that to happen.
Right.
So I had to think about, okay, this is what I love to do, jujitsu. We that's not that's not a secret.
Right.
And in chiropractic, we think about foundation. Foundation is to us is the foundation is your spine and your nervous system.
Right.
So I wanted to find some type of connection between the two. So I was like Googling some things on foundation. What are some words for some foundation? Other words for foundation, and then used a little bit of Chat GPT to
Right.
like make a connection between these two, and they gave me like 50 of them, and the one that stood out to me was groundwork.
Groundworks or work?
Groundwork.
Groundwork.
Yeah, groundwork. So the name of my office is going to be Groundwork Chiropractic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Garden Grove or Westminster?
We are in Garden Grove. Yeah. So I had to stick with that. It was just the name, and I was talking to my wife about it. She loves the name, and I was telling her some of the feedback that I've been getting about the name and the resistance I was getting. And then she was the one that even told me, she's like, "You got to choose something that you feel right about, like
Yeah.
not because someone told you that they didn't like it, right?" So we stuck with that. Then um, probably a few months ago, I reached out to our boy Mike that did the Bizjutsu logo.
Oh yeah.
Asked him to make something for creating a design for the office, and he came out with this dope logo. Man, I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
So the logo, I asked him to make it like, okay, I want something like with a house, like an academy, a dojo. That's how it started off with. That I'm like something that's a foundation and pillars. Then he like, I don't even remember if I even told him to put belts on it, but he created like these belts, like it looked like a house, like a foundation,
Mm,
and then it's the belts that's like in each sequence
nice.
from white to black, and I'm like, this is dope. And I was so happy with it, and we had to run with it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That
yeah,
is yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. I think what's so unique about just any experience, right? Taking it out of your head and then making it come to life and
oh,
seeing it
yeah,
come to life. I mean, that's where the magic is, dude.
oh yeah, yeah. I hear you say that a lot, but actually going through it now, man, I love it. Even though
Yeah,
I'm so nervous about what's to come, I'm ready. I'm ready.
yeah, for sure. Well, I think now too the good thing about like what you've been doing is you've been because how long have you been part of Black Diamond Club?
For over a year.
So over a year, you've been kind of getting the mindset and theory and concepts together, and then over the past, call it whatever, I don't know, 7 months of doing, the podcast. I think you probably got some good unintentional reps slash intentional reps of just, hey, how do I start kind of talking about this and start piecing some of these, the pieces of the puzzle. And I think what the cool part about it is you kind of get a running start versus somebody that's just a chiropractor straight out of school, or a chiropractor, from an associate to like wanting to go do it on your own. Um, you already have some of that runway. Plus also too, you've been doing the small biz vibes and kind of getting that off the ground. And
Hmm.
again, all of that is just compounding the compounding effect to be able to say, all right, here, groundwork, chiropractic is about to launch and plant its flag in Garden Grove, and you had a chance to be able to get this running start into it, which I think is super cool, dude.
Oh yeah, that's there was so many days where I was thinking, man, I'm so tired. this is I'm so tired. I don't know if I can go do another interview with this another small business owner in Redlands, or network with another person, or create content, create uh, go to another Black Diamond Club event and spend a weekend there and a lot of money that I don't have.
Mm, yeah.
you know, but I go back, man. This if I want to own a business, this is the struggles. To me, I think that a lot of people go through. That's what, and people like I know that a lot of people mention like it's tough, but I'm sure there's higher thresholds, or there's more to what they say how hard it is.
Oh yeah, not
That
easy, man.
no, and I'm like I can't I can't be giving up or relaxing because I'm tired. Like I gotta just go to the next meeting with another business owner, go network, go communicate and collaborate with a lot of local people. So um, definitely was a lot of them. Like I was exhausted, or I just didn't feel like I wanted to be there. But the moment it starts, like that's when like the magic happens. Like at each moment, I don't know why. Like I'm so resistant up until the moment.
Yeah,
It's weird.
dude. I mean, the funny thing is, I mean, that's the way I feel with jiu-jitsu sometimes, man.
Exactly.
Especially because I train in the morning and I'm like, oh my god, dude, this is just, I got too much on my plate. I'm freaking exhausted, and okay, I'm just gonna go because that's what I do. And then even driving through, right? It's dark, it's cold. Lately, it's been raining. I'm like, oh man, okay. I've been having all these freaking banged up shoulder, banged up elbow, and banged up back, and look for every reason to not go, and still get in the car and go. And then once I'm there and I put on the gi and I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm good. Come warm up some jumping jacks. I'm good to go. But yeah, yeah, that's funny, dude. Same
Yeah.
same exact same exact process, I'm sure.
Right. And it's so weird. And I sometimes forget about that. Like, yeah, Slick Rick always says this. It's not motivation, it's discipline to
Oh
get
yeah,
there at 5 a.m.
seriously,
he,
dude.
he's he gets there early.
That dude's an assassin, man.
Yeah. So, man, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where we're at with the office. I mean, from finding the space to signing the lease was about 3.5 weeks.
Oh yeah, easily.
I'm like, I was not expecting that because there was one episode we were talking about like where should I find like what should I be doing first? Like find a space, like find
Yeah,
where you want to be. I'm like, okay, I found where I want to be. Let's just dabble. Like I just want to check it out.
yeah,
And then I'm like, this I like this spot. I love what's around here. And then like, oh, let's see what they have to offer. I love the offer. Like, oh, let's apply and let's see if we can get it. If we don't get it, then we'll move on. We got it.
yeah.
Such a
Yeah, the you'll be surprised, man. You just put stuff in motion, see what happens.
oh man.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine if you just continued to just sit on sidelines and think about it and, dream about it and be stuck in traffic thinking about, oh man, one day I'm going to do it on my own, or just like, I'm going to just do it. Right.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Yeah. And I go back to when we started this, do the work, man.
Yeah.
Stephen Pressfield. It's just, that's all I can think about.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Keep going.
Just taking steps forward, taking
Yep.
steps forward.
Yep.
Yeah. The one thing I will share with you, and, I see this a lot when people, um, open the business or open businesses. Um, they get very excited about the product. They get very excited about the location. Some people gravitate towards things that they feel natural about. The thing I would just encourage you is fundamental of the business is, hey, at the end of the day, you're going to need to service clients in order for this to turn into a business. And the way you service clients is you got to start marketing. And I don't think there's any, I don't think you can market too soon, right? I think it's a scenario where every opportunity to start building, your marketing and sales funnel and doing all of that, concurrently while you're waiting for the equipment and, finalizing financing and working with contractors and all those things. I mean, I would be thinking about every opportunity, whether it's in the local market, right? Where, hey, people are driving by. I want to get my signage up. I'm going to put some balloons up every morning. I'm going to, um, drop off flyers and, collateral stuff to everybody in the local market, to setting up my Facebook ads, to setting up some things on LinkedIn. I mean, I would just be putting all those pieces of the puzzle together concurrently while, while you start working on generating your content and some of the other things that come along with that. But yeah, that's fun, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's already overwhelming, you mentioning that right now.
Seriously.
No, it
Seriously.
is because I already right now I'm putting Edgar was talking about this back in episode 1
Mm-hmm.
or episode 2.
Yeah.
I'll put like, I don't have a banner or anything, but I just made a Canva and printed out like coming soon all over the windows right now. So that's what I'm putting up, and like a little QR code for the Instagram handle. That's all I have right now, but just gonna keep putting whatever out there, whatever I can think of, get more
Yeah.
marketing
You
out
just
there.
gradually build, dude. Just,
Yeah.
especially like
Uh-huh.
as you have, more and more time and you get closer and closer, right? It's as long as you're contributing, every
Mm-hmm.
single day to be able to start building some of those things. I mean, your uh, Google business profile. I mean, literally, I'd be setting up, hey, your next door account. I mean, I would be all over, each one of those things and, just start building it gradually. There's some softwares and things that you can look at to help with with all of that. But yeah, I mean, you got to get some of that stuff in motion. You don't want to have this awesome office and then now you're open for business and you're paying for all these bills, you're paying for your financing, you're paying for your rent, you're paying for all these things, and it's the nicest office, and it's not even really a business, it's just a museum, right?
Oh
it's this
man,
thing that
yeah.
costs you a bunch of money that looks really cool, but no one's paying for it, right? It's like, man, you're not building a museum, you're building a damn business, right?
Right,
So
right.
you need to be thinking about, hey, how do I get people in the door and how do I start some of these conversations? And one thing that I would encourage too is like, definitely some of these strategies that you talked about, right? Email
Mm-hmm.
and your ads and all these things. But I'd be thinking about your own warm market, right? I'd be making a list of everybody that that was within driving distance,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be starting there, right? I'd be reaching out and creating an email list of just my friends and family, and that'd be the start of the database, and the people that and people that they could refer you to inside the local market, and just leave no stone unturned, right? It's like, it's one thing for you to put a post up on social saying, hey, I'm opening a new business, and your friends are going to like it. And some people even share it. But it's another thing to be able to get a personal text from Dr.
Hmm.
Archie. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? That's saying, hey, I'm opening up a chiropractic office. Love to, you know, have you come down, do an assessment, check it out. Um, if anything, gets people in the door and starts talking about, the business. And, even if you're doing some complimentary assessments, right, and just tours of your friends and family, throughout, certain periods of time prior to the opening. I mean, those are things that could just help get it off the ground, right? I mean, your friends and family are going to be the best supporters.
hmm,
And anytime you can just get things primed. Plus, also too, I think just it'll help you get some repetitions out of just talking about the business and working through some of the process and putting some of that stuff in while you start, investing into marketing and some of that other stuff.
absolutely, including workflow too, because like
Yeah,
it's fully skeleton right now.
yeah.
So yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely, that would help.
Well, I think what's
Yeah,
cool about that too is you're literally just building it the way you want to build it,
yeah.
right? You've been on both sides, right? Where like, okay, Dale's office extremely established. Like, how long has Dale's office been around?
20 years.
20 years, right? So you see what 20 years um, and being established inside a market, like what that looks like, and the rewards that come along with that. And I'm sure through that process, you probably start to say, you know what, hey, we should probably tighten up this, or hey, you know what, I really like the way that he does this, or hey, you know what, there's probably a different version that I'd like to do, or different software I'd like
Hmm.
to use, or just things that you just develop by being on the other side of it, right? As a team member and associate inside of an established clinic or an established office, like what that would look like and what you would want to deliver into yours. And I'm sure there's tons of best practices that you could bring over, and also just your own personal spin on it as well.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I keep note of things throughout my work week of things that, okay, this could have been done better, or when I had my office, this could be a little bit different. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I definitely do that. Yeah, keep those thoughts on paper for sure. Um, what about you, man? You were doing a lot of things too when I was MIA. You had a couple of you got had a couple of guests on, and you had other things running in the background too.
Yeah, still got a couple things in the background, not fully finalized, but I've been talking about evolving the staffing and recruiting into a um, consulting business. Pretty close to getting that in in motion. So look forward to talking about that on some future episodes.
Hell
But
yeah.
yeah, that's been moving along. Trying to work and operate in the shadows. So yeah, I'm excited to get that launched. Um, Looking at an office out here in Corona. So yeah, that should be good. Um, yeah, a
Where do
lot of
you
lot of stuff.
what time frame do you think is this all gonna come into fruition and fully come out? When do you think it's gonna happen?
60 days probably.
Nice.
Yeah, 60 days, 90 days at the latest. Again, there's a lot of this that's kind of been going in the background. Obviously, the staffing and recruiting, so the framework's already there. It's just, okay, hey, the services being offered, like what is that going to look like? And, I've been working with a couple um, potential larger players that we'll be working together on some projects. So yeah, I'll be good to kind of get that off the ground. Not fully ready to talk about it in detail, but yeah, definitely
Okay.
some evolution of the business. So that should be good. Um,
Nice.
and then also too, yeah, man, dude, we've had some solid guests
Yeah.
because the last one we did together, who was that? Was it Ron Mukai that we did together? Oh, no,
Ron
we did
was
Mike Bidwell. We did
we
Mike
did
Bidwell together.
Mike Bidwell after, yeah. That was the last one I was present on.
Yeah, yeah, we had Phil Perkins,
Hmm.
who his shows have been going off the charts.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
we had Mark from Nation. That episode performed really well. He's that dude's a fascinating guy. And then we had Drew from 10th Planet. That episode did really well too. And man, I'm excited to see his show King of Subs. That should be great. And then most recently, the one that just dropped was John Y. Which, man, that episode was really good, man. I really enjoyed that episode. I mean, all of them were really good. I thought John's was super fascinating, just because he doesn't have the traditional
Academy.
jiu-jitsu background, but like he had a start in kung fu and Wing Chun,
Yeah.
and then also was in the record business. I'm like, man, that threw me off when I asked him. I said, what kind of business are you in? He's like, oh yeah, it's the record business. I'm like, man, record business in the 90s in South Florida. Like, all I could think about was Two Life Crew.
Wasn't he did mention he was like in modeling or something like that?
Yeah, he was
He
a model,
briefly
dude.
like mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, he was enough of a model to do a pick up a gig with I forgot who you mentioned, Kathy Lee Griffith or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, for him to be able to go do a modeling contract, and be on a cruise ship in out in LA, I'm like, man, that dude's man, he's a marketer, man. I was going through his website. I don't know. Did you get a chance to dig into his website? You look
I
at that at all?
haven't. I haven't.
Oh my gosh, you got to look at it. Yeah, John Way Martial Arts, and yeah, his content and his website's really good, man. And he has a after school program that they have a bus, dude, that they pick up kids in and take them to his academy. Like, that's the level. And also too, I mean, he was talking through, I forgot how many members he said, like 400 plus members. Dude, that's another level. You have 400 plus members and 3,000 square feet. I mean, that's multiple classes, 70 classes a day, dude.
Wow.
I mean, a week, not a day.
Oh.
70 classes a week.
Yeah.
10 classes a day. Like, dude, that's another level, man.
Oh yeah.
That's a freaking business.
Yeah. That's, and especially I feel like his academy that offers so many different traditions. That's another level to have too.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And, he was pretty tied into American Top Team, which is huge out there in that plantation, just South Florida market. And, they have affiliate schools that's part of their business model, the ATT, American Top Team's business model. And he had 2 units with them. This was happening while he had his academy. So yeah, dude, that guy he's built some businesses, man.
Yeah, that's this is. How did you get connected with him? With Milton?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He and Milton are friends, and Milton just sent me a message. Milton connected us with Mike Bidwell too.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Yeah, Milton. Shout out to Milton.
yeah,
Black Belt Digital Marketing.
yeah.
That's a good dude, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be on the show. Did I tell you about that?
Yeah. I remember you mentioned it briefly. Yeah. When is that scheduled?
The end of the month. End of the
Nice.
month. Yeah.
That should be
Shit's
fun.
for dummies.
That
Yeah.
should be hilarious.
Yeah, it should be fun.
They
Should be
they
fun.
look like they have a great time on that show, man.
Dude, forget about it.
They got like a studio. I love how they got it like in person there too. That's dope.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, lined up really well with a couple things on the horizon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember
What was that?
I made what's the update with Black Diamond Club? How did that go?
Really good. Really good. Yeah, so they invited me to be on their podcast, and that will be May 11th, I think. May 10th.
Uh huh.
Um, so yeah, that'll line up real well with a couple things. I want to talk to you offline about. I have a couple ideas
Yeah.
that we could do with that. But yeah, um, we'll get that going. So that should be good. Yeah, there's a couple things. I think just getting onto people's podcasts and sharing the story. I think pretty simple strategy. Plus, also just I think it'll be fun to sit on the other end of the other end of the microphone, right? To be able to chat and talk and answer some of the questions and be in the hot seat on things. So yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah. 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 I think it'll be great for you. Man, you got a couple lined up now. That's good.
Yeah, yeah, fun little projects. Um, the other thing I was going to ask you, dude, are you still good on time? We're in an hour.
Um, I can hear the kids crying right now.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, I want to ask you one last question.
Yeah,
So, competition, was that last weekend?
it was last weekend.
So to top it all off, so you were out of town, marketing conference, cross train another academy. Fast forward, negotiating a lease. You got the lease, working through the nuance of getting the office off the ground, and then you couple that you bookend that with, hey, I'm just going to randomly do a competition. And then on top of that, hey, I'm going to do a competition. I'm going to have Noah's brother document it, which is a whole different story. Dude, that video is so legit.
It is. He's
Yeah.
he's
Vendetta
got
Studios, man. Dude, they work magic.
great work. Great work. I'm definitely going to hire him for future projects for sure. That was a coincidence hiring. I didn't think. I don't know how that happened, but I found him through. I was just looking on Thumbtack. I'm like, oh, okay. He was kind of like on top of the list. Made the connection. Told him exactly what I was doing. He told me he was a brown belt. I didn't think anything of it, like
Right.
at that time. And then we got on the phone, and I'm like, so we talked about what my idea was. then then I go, I gotta ask you, where are you train? Where do you train at? He goes, in Santa Ana. And then I'm like, okay, this is way too much of a coincidence. I have to ask you, are you so and so brother, so and so's brother? And then right there, I was like, okay, not dude, just put me on. I'll hire you. Let's seal it right now. We'll see you
Yeah.
next weekend.
Yeah, that
That
talk about a
was
small world, man.
right.
Small world. Did you message Noah about that?
I haven't messaged him.
Oh, dude. Yeah, we gotta message him. I'm
For
sure his
sure.
brother told him,
Oh
but
yeah.
dude, what a small world. So
Yeah.
you randomly come up with the idea of, hey, I'm gonna go compete in jiu-jitsu, and then on top of that, I'm gonna document it. You have Noah's brother, accidentally hire Noah's brother to document it.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
that like? What was the
Well,
experience like?
well, one of the things the reason why I did it, like just kind of last minute, was it started off with the Ron Mukai episode. He's talking about being in a competition and it's where you really test yourself. At that time, it kind of like was just kind of sizzling at that moment. Then, the further we're working on getting the biz or finding the office and having this business mindset, and I'm like, I need to figure out how do I get better. So I'm trying to tie in business and jujitsu because this is the theme, right?
Right.
I've been doing jujitsu for 10, well, let's say 12 years. Like the COVID shit, we don't have to talk about that. Anyways,
Right.
so 12 years. Like I'm doing jujitsu for 12 years. I'm like, okay, in business, if I'm in business for 12 years and I'm being too comfortable, how do I get better?
Yeah.
right? Like that's the way I'm trying to make that connection with jujitsu. Like, okay, how do I get better, right? Then stepping out of your comfort zone, and that was kind of one of the themes in at the Diamond Club event I went in Dallas. So I'm over here now. The mind's like really stirring. Like, okay, I know Jesse was doing a tournament at the end of March, and it's in our backyard. So I'm like, okay, things are all aligning. I got this mindset going, and I'm like, screw it. I was at Black Diamond Club after that evening.
Yeah.
Got online and registered that night while
Oh,
I was
that's
at Black
so
Diamond
funny.
Club. And then they were talking about documenting things, and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna find a videographer. So that was like the whole reason why I did all this behind, like just kind of like last minute, and it definitely it paid off. So um, the guy I went against, and that guy, he had probably a good 4 to 5 inches. He was probably 4 or 5 inches taller than me, and you can feel his strength as soon as he grabbed my leg. Like I
Yeah.
was really trying to dump him as soon as he tried to grab my sink leg. I tried to sprawl as hard as I could,
Yeah.
and there was no way. And I thought I would be able to get it because this guy's tall, so he has to go down a lot further to grab my leg. But no,
Right.
he just freaking he didn't have to go down. He just lifted my leg up and like threw me up in the air. So the sprawl didn't work at that time. But anyways, man, um, yeah, that the whole competition, doing the competition, man, I think it was definitely an eye-opening experience for me in both, personal development and in jujitsu. So it's just more things I need to work on, right? There's definitely the physical and mental, but it's made me have more intention in class now,
Mm,
right? And really seeing the difference between rolling in class and then being in competition too
right.
as well. Like there's definitely that difference. So that
What,
was.
what was your biggest takeaway from the whole thing?
I think what I just mentioned, like the difference between rolling in competition and then rolling in class. Like I need to just go for things. Like I can't just play it safe,
Right.
right? If you're confident in doing that move, hit it. Like don't wait for it to happen, right? Like
Mm,
just go for it. Like just like everything else right now with signing the lease and finding
yeah.
everything that's been happening in a couple weeks. Like just go for it. Just go.
Yeah. See what happens.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the biggest mistakes I made was like I'm trying to react to what this guy's doing. I'm like I know he was gonna grab my leg. I let him grab my leg,
Yeah.
and I thought I could sprawl on him, but no. Like I need to be a little bit more persistent and more active when doing these competitions. So if I'm a little bit more active, like heavily active in class, that's why.
That's why. Smashing everybody.
Because in class I want to develop the technique, right? It's like you kind of let them play a little bit, and you kind of give more resistance. There's like these levels, like you keep on bouncing back and forth. But I think the next few weeks is just going to be a lot more resistance.
Yeah. Putting it on everybody. Letting everybody know.
But also it's like when you do that you got to find your threshold too. Like you can't be constantly doing that, man. It's like it's going to take a
Yeah.
toll on your body. You're going to get exhausted. You're going to probably get tapped out because you're so exhausted.
Seriously.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's that.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
Oh yeah,
No,
so
no, no.
that yeah, that was like the overall experience of the competition. I'm glad I did it. I appreciate you and everyone that came to support last minute. But I mean, you guys being there definitely made the experience like much more. Like I had a lot of fun with you guys being there. So That was good.
Dude, the best picture that I saw was, I think Lisa had taken it, and it was of your daughter peeking through.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, yeah,
She's like looking through the uh I don't know what that, whatever that banner cover. She's like, someone's pulling it back and like looking through.
yeah.
I have a similar memory um of that when my kids were younger, and it was at a CrossFit event, and I remember I was competing at a CrossFit event in Orange County.
Uh-huh.
My kids were younger, a little older than your kids were right now, and I remember my daughter and son on the sidelines cheering me on, and I remember like everything was going on, and I could vividly remember like looking over and seeing my kids cheering for me, and I'm like, oh my god, dude! It's like one of those memories that you just, kind of stuck in your brain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
super cool,
was.
dude.
It was great to have you guys there, yeah, and my family there too. It's a lot of support. And going back to like more of the reason why I did this, I haven't been getting any sleep, man. Kids, my son, he's waking up like every hour, 2 hours. But things need to move on, man. They need to continue. Like no matter how much sleep, like things need to still keep moving forward. Like I can't just sit there and complain about how much sleep I'm not getting,
Yeah,
right? Like it's like how resilient can you be working through raising a 2 year old and a 10-month old and having a business and competing, and this is all part of the game to me. Like this is all part of the game,
yeah,
and I need to figure out the higher threshold because, like, going back to the video that Sam made about being comfortable, right? I got comfortable sleeping 6 hours when my daughter was when we only had my daughter, right? It's like she
yeah,
was really good,
yeah,
but things are changing, man. Like they're changing fast, and like it's just leaning into all this change that's happening, and that's what I'm trying to focus on this year because I can't. When I experience change, I try to go back to being comfortable. Like we got to go back. Like that's how I was before. Like we got to go back. We need that back again. But no, it's like this is we need it. This is how it is. Let's keep going. Right. That's kind of been my mindset.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That is that's cool. The funny thing is, just as you're talking, I find myself in that situation. Not, my kids are older, so I don't. It's not a lose sleep thing, but a,
Hmm.
man, just dealing with adversity and complexity, and I'm going to start this new project, and if I
Hmm.
say yes to this, I got to say no to something else. Well, I'm still going to train, and hey, I'm going to go do this, and I got to take care of this stuff for the family, and I got, all these different things that are happening, and there's just a certain amount of just like, bring it, let's go,
Yeah.
let's go.
Hmm.
What else? What else? What else? What other challenges is in front of me? Right? Just keep
Exactly.
building.
Exactly. Yeah. And for me, like I was saying, like I find myself through that. I want to bring myself back to where I was feeling comfortable, but I don't want that to happen.